Welcome everybody once again to Plymouth Regional High School as we get set for a big-time matchup in a rivalry battle here in NHIAA Division II for the semifinals as the top-seeded Bobcats of Plymouth Regional High School play host to the fourth-seeded Sabres of Souhegan High School. Alongside Mike Courier, I'm Dan Salzer. Thank you all for tuning in live on YouTube, and finally, thank you to Jonathan Picard. We're back on cable for the first time this season live. So hello to everyone. Coach, two big teams, two juggernauts, a lot of history between not only these two teams with each other, but in the state with championships. And this is a rematch of last year's semifinal. And again, all to play for, but it's going to be a kind of a run and gun beat up game here today.
Well, and it's always been like that historically. Plymouth and Souhegan have a long history of rivalry, and there's been some great teams along the way, and a few upsets here and there. But no, two very good teams. The game could go either way, and again, as I always say, it's going to be turnovers and mistakes like that, penalties, things like that will make the difference in this game. I think Plymouth really put it all together against Merrimack Valley last week. They had kind of, in the last couple of games of the season, they didn't play up to their capability, I don't think. And, after a long season, you win all your games. I think sometimes you sit back a little bit too much, and because we'd beaten Merrimack Valley, they were probably thinking it was a little easier than it was going to be. But they got coached up pretty good to take care of some of the things that MV did with them before, and they shut them down completely. Plymouth was in total control of that game
from the get-go. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, we want to show you the bracket going into today's game. One final score from last night. Pelham, the 2 seed, all over Trinity, 47-21. So they are awaiting the winner of this game for next week's championship in Division II that is currently scheduled to be held at Pinkerton Academy. I believe a 1 p.m. kickoff at the moment. Scheduled to change depending on what happens with Division I and everything else. But for right now, scheduled championship at Pinkerton Academy next Saturday. We go into last week, Coach, a little bit more in depth. First, for Plymouth, come in, you've got the leading rusher, Ben Valenti, just under 1,000 yards rushing on the season, 929, 13 touchdowns. Robbie Thorne, about 550 yards on 73 touches, 18 touchdowns. Last week, though, Valenti, 53 yards, Thorne, 58 yards, a touchdown for Valenti, 2 for Robbie Thorne, and they're really the driving horse of this offense.
I mean, once you get inside the 5-yard line, it's pretty hard to stop Robbie Thorne.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy falls down, he's across the goal line. But, no, they're both very good running backs. They've been utilized very well by Coach Sanborn this year. And there's also the other running backs who have had a great season as well, and it really mixes it up so that you've got an inside and an outside game, and it's hard to defend against them.
Yeah, talk about Tristan Patridge. He comes in 437 yards on this season. Diamond himself as a quarterback, 215 yards. A slew of other guys with over a century in rushes. But you look at Diamond last week, did get pulled towards the end because of the score line, allowing Gavin Sanborn to get some playing time in a playoff scenario. But Diamond hitting the century mark in passing, one of the few times this year he's done so, and that really opens up this offense for Plymouth.
Well, Luke Diamond is the extra variable that when he is utilized to his fullest, which Coach used him much more in ways that he hadn't used him early in the season by design, he changes the game because he can roll out, he can run, he can pass, a lot of things that he can do, and he's a tough kid. So I think when you see more of him in a game, it's certainly Plymouth's advantage and difficulties for the defense on the other side.
And we talk about the other side, and this is a Souhegan team that not only wants revenge from last year's semifinal loss here, that battled down to the final seconds, 28-26, I believe, was the final of that game, but they want some redemption from the overtime loss at home against Plymouth earlier this season.
Well, absolutely. And, they always say it's difficult to beat the same team twice in a season. Of course, Plymouth, beat them the first time around during the football season this year. But, when it comes to the playoffs, these are one games. it's one game, and you put it all out there, and you prepare for it. And Plymouth is well coached as any team in the state. I don't care what the division is, and they're going to be ready, and as will Souhegan. So again, it comes down to who makes the mistakes, turnovers, and that sort of thing.
Again, Souhegan coming off of a dominant 34-6 win over John Stark in the quarterfinals last weekend to get back to the semifinals here today. But they're led by a really powerful quarterback who some, deemed as this backup last year, really is taking control after the transfer out of their previous quarterback in Mike Biango. And he is someone Plymouth's really going to have to keep an eye on here today.
And he's only a junior. The majority of receivers that he has are juniors as well. So we're going to see much more of this young quarterback, not just this year, next year as well. So they've got a strong team. They're going to be losing, I think, 12 seniors, but they've got a ton of sophomores and freshmen coming up, as well as a good nucleus of juniors who are actually starting this year.
Like that, you've got Radalunas, one of the top running backs in the state. Also, Braden Hickman as a wide receiver. So you've got really three key core players that Plymouth is going to have a difficulty, whether you go a double team or how do you kind of work with a defense there with so much firepower.
Yeah. And I think that, against a team that can run like that and pass like that, it's going to be first step off the ball. I mean, you're going to have to penetrate. You're going to have to make things happen before they can set things up.
So we look at things, a couple of minutes. You see Souhegan finishing up with a team huddle in the end zone right now. Plymouth traditionally continuing on with their warm-ups right up until the coin toss. And Coach, if you're looking at the players, you take a look back at the last game in the regular season between these two, with Plymouth getting that overtime win. Is there an underdog that we haven't really talked about, that we really haven't seen, that's going to stand out for you for either team here today?
I don't know. I think that, in terms of underdog or not seen as much, I think Ryan Diamond's your guy. I think his play is going to be the tipping point, I think, for Plymouth, because he's going to probably be doing more things that he can do than he was doing during the regular season. And I'm sure that, Coach Sanborn you don't want to show too much during the season of what you got. So you kind of hide that as long as you can. I mean, if you have to pull it out, you pull it out. But Plymouth really hasn't had to, and they've even in the last two games that were tight, they stepped up, and when the chips were down, they won.
You look at things, Tristan Patridge, in that game against Souhegan, a career game, over 100 yards in rushing, a couple of touchdowns. He could be someone that Plymouth might have to rely on if the likes of Robbie Thorne and Ben Valenti kind of get shut down at the line.
Yeah. Well, when they run the traps, and when the kids, I'm sure that the defense is going to key on Ben and on Robbie Thorne, and if they take their eyes off off the other kid, he's going to be gone in a heartbeat, because he has good acceleration. He's quick off the ball and very instinctive as he runs.
But Plymouth has a tendency to give up some big plays in some key situations. We saw that at Souhegan, that 85-yard touchdown. We saw it at St. Thomas in the regular season finale, that 83-yard touchdown give up. So it's all about that positioning and how well the defense can communicate in that secondary. I think is going to be key here today. Well,
you're right, and I think that one of the coaches told me a week or so ago that you had the defensive secondary has had very, very few penalties, and that's wonderful in one sense, but it also means they're not as aggressive as they could be in their play. And I think that some of the things that they've got beaten on with the pass has been the lack of intensity, and the kids are trying to do all the right things. They're giving 110%, but they're not as aggressive as some of the past secondaries we've had.
See what is going to happen. You see on your screen Plymouth on the sideline getting ready for the coin toss and national anthem. Souhegan still in the end zone off to the left of your screen as we wait for them to get over to their sideline. And it's kind of that little bit of gamesmanship right up until here, 52 seconds on the clock left in warm-ups. And it's that gamesmanship already playing between these two teams.
Yeah, tempo, pace, things of that nature can come into play. It's like you watch a pitcher and a batter, at least before the 20-second rule for pitchers. they can step out of the box. They can do things to throw off the timing and whatnot. And I think you have your teams that utilizes that sort of thing. I can remember back when I was coaching at Plymouth State, we had Western Connecticut come into the cafeteria for a pregame meal, and they all walked around the perimeter of the cafeteria staring at us like we were going to be intimidated. Unfortunately, we beat them. Unfortunately for them, we beat them 21-0. But there is that piece of intimidation that teams will use.
Yeah, it goes back, not football, soccer for me at Plymouth State. I remember my freshman year, last regular season game or close to it, heading into November. It's snowing or it's freezing cold. We're out there in shorts and T-shirts warming up, and Eastern Connecticut State comes in, bundled up, and they couldn't compete. It's that intimidation factor. You are right.
Well, you'll see one of the guys that wears shorts, I think he might wear them year-round, is Mark McGlone, Cabby McGlone, who always refuses to wear long pants during football season, even in November and then early December.
Well, someone who couldn't be here today, a good friend of ours, and is watching from home right now, Coach Mike Beliveau, former head coach from 1995 to, 2012? Coach is going to text me if I get that wrong, but multiple state championship winner with Souhegan, new assistant coach at New England College with their new program that launched this year. So, Coach, hope you're getting well. Sorry you couldn't be here today, but hope you enjoy today's game nonetheless. So the captains will make their way out to midfield, getting ready for the coin toss. Nossaman, Diamond, and Crane, captains for Plymouth. See Hickman, Harris as two of the captains for Souhegan. Also the likes of Arbogast, number 50 there on the right side of your screen. He'll make the call. So Plymouth has won the toss, and it looks like they've elected to defer. We'll wait for the official ruling here. See WMUR getting the coverage. Actually, Plymouth will receive, and I'm a fan of that here today, Coach. Being the playoffs, trying to get that first score early on.
Well, Plymouth, historically, going back to Chuck Lenahan and his days, they've never refused to take the ball when they can take it. I think they want to come out, they want to make a statement, they want to go down and score some points and put the defense of the other team on their heels a little bit. And that's what they'll do again this year, following with the usual.
With that, we'll turn it over to Will Gunn and the PRHS Pep Band for our national anthem. Great job, as always, by Will Gunn and the PRHS Pep Band and their rendition of our national anthem. As we get ready for kickoff here in the second semifinal in Division II. The other one, again, if you're just tuning in, went finally last night with Pelham all over Trinity. So Pelham waiting for the winner of this one. Will it be a repeat of last year's championship game against Plymouth, or will Souhegan get some redemption and head back to the championship game next Saturday? Coach, any final thoughts before we get kickoff here today?
Not really. I'd like to be a little more colorful, but it's a great day. We've got two great teams, and we'll see what happens, but I'm ready to go. Beautiful
day for football nonetheless. Owen Drake, the kicker, will get set to kick things off left to right across your screen. If you are listening to our broadcast, Souhegan in the road white uniforms, black numbers, and red or yellow trim, I should say, not red, my apology, looking at someone in the background there. Plymouth in their home blue uniforms, white numbers, white pants, going right to left. As we are underway in the semifinals, end over end, it will be short for Liam Shannon. He fumbles it at the 25, still has it, shakes off a couple of tackles, has it on the near sideline and tackled across the 35 and brought down, I believe, I'm trying to see who that was. That was Chase Knuckles, number 11, in on the tackle.
Well, he did the right thing in coming up to the ball. It was a short kick, and you want to catch that thing on the fly. You don't want to let it hit, but he didn't quite hold on to it. Fortunately, he was able to scoop it up and broke a couple tackles and picked up decent yardage to get us up to the 37-yard line.
So Plymouth's offense will go to work for the first time. Again, we talked about it pregame. Luke Diamond last week, 100 yards passing, 1 touchdown. So he was 6 of 7 on the day against Merrimack Valley. Handoff here to Valenti. He'll get about 4 on the carry. Correction, Patridge, number 24, not 23.
And Souhegan's in their 5 front, so they're covering the center. And I've watched some film, and they come out like that. They do make adjustments and shift into a 4 sometimes, but they come out with the 5, the 52 defensive front.
Well, you need to win against Tyler Medeiros, who, as you see, has the center, has a sizable advantage over everyone else on the line. Once again, here's Valenti this time, spinning through a couple of tackles across the 45. It'll bring up 3rd and short for Plymouth.
On the carry.
Well, I think you're going to see some smash mouth football today. And Plymouth certainly, I think, has the advantage controlling the ball with the 2 big running backs and the halfbacks that they have. And they've got a great line. The line has made the difference all year long on both sides of the ball.
Third and 2. Handoff going to the left side and nowhere for Patridge to go. Right in there was the likes of Aiden McGrath, number 1, for the tackle. And it'll bring up 4th down.
I think that probably was based on the response by the defense was based on some film work they've done, because there's been tendencies to see Plymouth go that way, but normally more successful. But they're going to go for it on 4th down.
4th and 2 here from the 45. Handoff, Robbie Thorne cutting up, spinning through into the secondary, and he's across midfield. A gain of about 8 on the carry, and easily a Bobcat first down.
He's not Diet Coke machine. He is a Coke machine. He's the real thing. Pretty hard to stop that 230 or 40 pounds of him when he gets up ahead of steam. And again, the line did a great job. They went off tackle. Off tackle is a great way to go against the 50 defense.
Diamond still under center. Fullback handoff. Patridge gets hit right away at the line. Will get forward progress of about a couple of yards.
Patridge on the carry.
Sean Reardon, number 55, in on the tackle.
Reardon's a tough kid. He's a captain as a junior, so there's got to be a lot of confidence in him and a lot of respect paid to him by his teammates.
All of the secondary up within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. Handoff here. Patridge dancing through the line. Will get about 5 on the carry, and will bring up 3rd and short.
And we're certainly in 4-down territory here.
Harris on the stop.
Plymouth, with the number of running backs they have, sometimes will go 4 downs back in their own 45, but they're capable of making that happen. So they've got 2 plays to pick up the first down on this.
3rd and 2 from the Souhegan 36-yard line. Bobcats in motion. Patridge, right side, across the 30, easily enough for a first down as he'll be stopped at the 30. And we talked about him pregame, Coach. He had a fantastic running game against Souhegan in the regular season and already picking up where he left off from there.
Absolutely, and he's looking good. You know, the one thing I'm seeing out here is when on the tackles, you know, they're kind of standing the runners up, and you've got to always protect that football because that's where they're going to start punching and clawing to get that thing to pop out.
Pretty much all 11 guys in that box right there. Handoff right side as Thorne maybe gets 3.
Thorne on the carry.
Jonathan Bauscha, number 66, initial tackle at the ankles. And great job by him to wrap up on both legs and not allow Robbie Thorne to break free.
Well, this kind of a ground chuck game this kind of sets the tone. But what it also does is you see, as Dan said earlier, the guys in the box, how many guys are up within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. So it opens up some other possibilities, such as the toss right.
Over there to Valenti, and it's close to the sticks for the first down. We'll see if the officials give it, and it looks like they will.
I think
and it
so.
is a Bobcat first down right at the red zone.
And I guess there you go. That toss to the outside, when they're expecting anything between the tackles, and you do that, you know, it gives you that opportunity. He had a nice hole through the line of scrimmage and didn't really get touched for the first three yards or so. But it was a great call, great run.
1st and 10 Bobcats at the Souhegan 20-yard line. Diamond back under center. Here comes the blitz showing. Diamond quarterback keeper design play, and he gets popped as he tries to hurdle some down players at the line of scrimmage. Souhegan was ready for it.
Diamond on the keeper.
Yeah, they were coming right up that gap, the Plymouth A gap. Linebacker came, he was crashing through there to stuff things up a little bit.
Louis Toledo, also a guard, number 58, getting a shot in there as well. But they'll give Diamond a couple on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the 18-yard line. Slow burner, close to a fumble on the handoff. Patridge will get a couple more on that rush. And Plymouth just grinding out the yards here, already under 6 minutes to go in the first quarter in the opening drive.
And that was a straight dive pretty much. And against the 50 front, that's a decent play because it's a quick hitter. You get through the line of scrimmage and you can usually get pretty good yardage. So that was run pretty well.
3rd and 5, Bobcats deep in Sabre territory. Handoff left side, and Patridge runs into a wall. Radalunas was the first one there with a couple of others on the tackle, and a good defensive stop for Souhegan.
Brought down by Reardon and Hickman.
Reardon Hickman also, as you hear, in on that tackle.
Well, we're looking at 4th and just under 5 yards, and in order to make this happen, not sure the straight ahead run is going to work. They may have to do something a little different, but I know Coach Sanborn has got a whole stock of plays to go to.
4th down. Diamond going to roll out, throw to the left, and finds Jackson Rainier. And it's a Bobcat touchdown.
We're going to actually do a legal name change for Jackson. We're going to change that first name to Money. Because that boy, when the ball's near him, he's going to catch it. And when you saw the second effort, he got across the goal line. That was a great call by Coach Sanborn, very well executed. The receivers, there were two in the general area, but they were not too close together, which is the way you want to do that to create separation. And Jackson grabbed that thing and dove into the end zone.
Now, sorry, replay a little bit tight on that angle. We'll see if you have a different one for you, but nevertheless, 6-0. Here's the kick for Luke Legacy, and that one is a mile into the sky and good. And a 7-0 Bobcat lead on the opening drive, going 64 yards.
From the hill.
And took it most of the first quarter, 4:24 left in the first.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Legacy boomed that thing through, and I think that has been what has made some differences in. He's missed a few extra points and just kind of chip-shotting it in. I think he's got to step through and boot that thing like he just did, and nobody's going to block it, and it's going to go through.
So now we'll see the likes of Souhegan's offense for the first time today. We'll see what they can do for the kickoff return.
And again, I think, Dan, that you want to be careful how you kick this thing off. You don't want to set them up for a return. I think that he may pooch it or he may line drive it, but giving them the ball with room to set up is not a good thing. They have guys that can take it to the house anytime.
And it will be a little pooch to the near side. Fair catch signal caught by the likes of Knuckles at the 30. And I really like that because you had so much depth back there. You had Radalunas, you had Brody Smith, also that second lineup with Grant Harris and Liam Fisher. Just so much power to run for the back there. Plymouth's going to be going short most of the afternoon on kickoffs.
Well, and that's just it. They've got the ball on the 30-yard line. If you get the ball back to the 5 or the 10 on a kickoff, and then you've got a full head of steam with the back returning it, it's a little more difficult to stop them, and it creates opportunities for them to get big gains and bigger gains than starting at the 30-yard line.
So here we go. We'll see Mike Fiengo for the first time today in the season. Had just under 1,500 yards passing. Last week, 80 yards passing, and
that was a
nearly
great block pass by Mr. Coke Machine himself, Mr. Thorne.
Bobby Thorne doing well on both sides of the ball here. Liam Shannon giving him a little tap on the helmet.
They were trying to run a slant pass with their wide receiver.
See the replay here. Oh, Eli Crane was about a half step behind on diving for that and getting the interception. So in the shotgun. There you go. Good snap. Quarterback keeper. Design run play. He'll get out to about the 35.
And that's their go-to play. The quarterback I believe he has more rushing yardage than anybody else out there, and they love to do that with him. Spread everybody out, and then let him do that quarterback draw.
Third down and 5.
Unofficially, from what we have from NH Sports Page, second leading rusher in the regular season, 517 yards, right behind the likes of Radalunas. As again, here's Radalunas with a carry. It gets maybe one. And Cooper Legacy, number 38, in there quickly on the tackle.
I'm a little surprised about that play selection, but
Brought down in the backfield.
it must have worked at some point before. But now it's fourth down, and I doubt very seriously if they're going to go for it. But if they do,
they get the personnel change. But it looks like they're gonna go split. So they're gonna stay with it fourth down here in the shotgun.
He's hard calling. He's trying to get an offsides from Plymouth, and Plymouth is not biting.
Nope, they're gonna have to burn a timeout here by the looks of things. Yeah, just gonna burn down the play clock here. Coach Robin Boquette waiting for the timeout, and there it is. So.
As much as Plymouth works on their shift, which causes the offensive lines to jump, that hard call did not work at all against the Bobcat defensive line.
I like it. So they decided to take the flag and the delay of game to move them a little bit further back so that the punt would not go into the end zone and try to pinch Plymouth deep in their own end.
Well, they've got a little wind behind them, but I watched the punter, and the punter maybe can reach 40 yards from the line of scrimmage. So, and I saw him kick a lot shorter than that. So we'll see what happens.
So good punt from Hickman. Friendly bounce right into Logan Marsh's lap across the 40, and it gets pushed out of bounds short of the 45, running right into Lincoln Wilkins, number 42.
So that punt really was not that long, and Mr. Marsh was able to pick it up on one bounce and pick up a few yards after catching it. So Plymouth's in a good field position at about their 44, first and 10.
And that's something you got to be aware about too, because Marsh and Shannon have had struggles on special teams in receiving some of the kicks and punts over the last few weeks. So nice job there from Logan Marsh to hold on to it, as the Bobcats offense will go to work for the second time today after forcing a 3-and-out. Patridge across midfield.
Looks like the
Ball
may have
came
popped
out. Souhegan wants it, but they're going to say Patridge is down by contact.
Yeah. Well, thank God, and you've got to really. These are the things that turn a ball game around, momentum and everything else. So that was fortunate for Plymouth. But they got to really take care of that ball. That was a quick hitter with the halfback and right up the field, which works well again against the five-man front.
6-yard carry for Patridge, just north of 2 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Already moving right along in this run-first game. Hand off, Patridge cutting up inside, gets the first down and more, but they're going to say again, down by contact as the ball popped free.
I think they may have recovered that with a first down. I think they did get the first down, but they got to hang on to that football.
Don't know if we have a replay of that. I don't think we do.
First down, Bobcats.
So nevertheless, Bobcats with the first down. We'll see if we have it here. Yep, there's. Oh, it did. Yeah, it did pop out. But they're going to say he was down by contact. That's really close.
Well, we'll take it.
There's Ben Valenti just shoving his way forward. Still on his feet across the 40. He dropped his shoulder and added a little oomph himself into that line to get 3 on the carry. Love Smash Mouth football, Coach.
Well,
classic here, especially playoff season.
Just 3.5 yards, that's all you need 3 times, and nobody's going to stop you. The other piece of running a ground game like this is it wears people down. Hopefully the defense.
Exactly. We'll run it again with Patridge, and he runs into a wall, and my goodness, Grant Harris, the senior, had a man on him. I couldn't see who he was battling against, but still able to get a hand in and help on that tackle. Third and 5 here from the 38.
And again, we're probably looking at 2-down territory. But Plymouth needs to keep this going. They don't want that momentum to swing to Souhegan in any way.
Most likely the final play of the quarter, sub 30 seconds remaining here in the first. We'll toss over to Robbie Thorne, slips past one tackle, nearing the sticks. He'll be about 1 yard or 2 short.
Thorne on the carry.
But we're going to look at 4th and short from about the 33 or 34.
Let's see where they mark it. They'll put it at the 34, you're right. So 4th and 2, depending, really 4th and 1.5. But that'll be the end of the first quarter. Bobcats having possession right now, having the possession of the clock as well. Opening score drive, 64 yards, capped off by Jackson Rainier's touchdown catch, and that's where we stand at the moment. It's Plymouth Regional 7, Souhegan 0. You're watching Bobcat football and the NHIAA Division II semifinals here on Pemmy Baker TV. back for the start of the second quarter. Fourth and officially 4th and 1 here for Plymouth. Dan Salzer alongside Mike Courier. And there comes the blitz through. Souhegan looked like they've stopped it, and what a perfectly timed blitz from Grant Harris, number 22.
Well, they had gone back they had gotten into a forefront with 4 linebackers, so that gives them a little more capability of doing some things such as stunting like that. And they picked the right hole, and the kid was in there and made the stop.
I saw him out of the corner of my eye rushing up, and perfect timing from Harris. So a turnover on downs, and we'll see Souhegan's offense go to work for the second time today after going 3 and out quickly in the opening quarter. Again, winner of this game, if you're just tuning in, will take on Pelham in next week's championship game at Pinkerton Academy. Smith in motion, handoff
fumble.
The middle, the ball's loose.
Quarterback did pick it up, though.
Fiango fell on that one as he ran into Medeiros. A big gust of wind into our microphone. We apologize for that.
Well, what we saw there was the start of an option. He faked to the fullback, and evidently I'm not sure if the fullback grabbed the ball too hard, but the tailback was headed to the east.
Exactly.
And quarterback would come down the line and run a pitch option off that. So that's something that we may see again very soon.
Shout out to our production crew capturing the replays for you here today with our 2 camera setup. And that shotgun, little pitch out. Radalunas, he'll try to dive upfield, gets to about the 38, gain of a 4 on the rush.
Brought down by Shannon.
Shannon in on the tackle yet again. Boy, Coach, if Liam Shannon can continue to play as he's done in the second half of the season, he is going to be a true factor in the second half of this game.
Absolutely. He's a tough kid. He's got great speed, good nose for the ball.
Fiango, throw out to the flat near side. Radalunas gets swallowed up by Legacy.
And what was great about that play defensively is they turned him inside. Because outside, you got a shot at getting around the corner a little bit, but they turned that inside, and it was great inside pursuit with the linebackers and the corners, and they just swamped that.
And just like that, yet again, another 3 and out punting unit coming on. Braden Hickman will be back to punt. Wind dying down at the moment, flag not moving. Bleed as much time off here on the play clock, it looks like, as good end over end to the near sideline. A friendly Souhegan bounce and got away from Logan Marsh, and it will be down at about the 40.
That was a good job by Marsh. He showed right instincts on the kickoff before, even though he had a little problem with it, came up on the ball and got it. That one he stayed away from, so there was no chance of the ball hitting him and then being recovered by Souhegan. So he did a nice job on that.
But again, Plymouth's defense picking up where they've left off last week. Merrimack Valley, they really controlled that game. It was 42-0 from most of that second half. And here, they've held Souhegan to 2 drives, and both of them being 3 and outs. 1st and 10 for the Bobcat 40. Rainier in motion. Handoff. Patridge gets tied up right at the line. Spins forward for maybe a couple. Trying to see whose arm got in there.
Patridge on the carry. McGrath on the stop.
So they'll give Plymouth a gain of 3. We'll move a Bargwin out wide for the first time here today. Fumbled on the snap, and Diamond has to fall on that. And again, unforced errors have been a factor throughout the season at times, Coach, and Plymouth can't afford these here today.
I think what's going on is that the snap is coming, but I think that the center's moving as he's snapping, which is what he's supposed to do. And I think Luke Diamond is pulling out just a little too soon to allow too much space. And he's really got to be tucked underneath there and ride the butt of the center up to make sure he gets that ball.
So just like that, third down. Patridge with some blockers trying to find a lane and gets absolutely popped. Gain of 2. Standing and waiting for him was Wilkins, number 42.
It looks like they're going to punt this time, and I think that is, well, we don't know, but I think they are.
Bausch, number 66, limping off the field a little bit for Souhegan.
And interesting, we have the quarterback, Luke Diamond. I didn't realize he was a punter.
He has been most of the season. The last few weeks it was Robbie Thorne, but Diamond, long wait, but
That's
good
a nice
hang
punt.
time.
That's going to roll, too. That's going to roll. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Will it
Stop.
get in?
We're going to stop
It's going to die at the 1. What a punt from Luke Diamond.
I could tell watching that ball go up in the air, and as it's coming down, I said, this baby's going to roll. And there it did. But that's great, and that puts Souhegan in position. You know, a team that likes to throw back in that part of the territory, it makes it really skeptical in terms of doing that. They've got to kind of pound their way out from the 1-2 yard line. And Plymouth's in a good position here, and the defense should be all pumped up to really make something happen.
Yeah, beautiful 59-yard punt there for Luke Diamond. And Plymouth's defense has a chance to really do some damage if they can get another 3 and out and have some good field position. 7:47 to go, second quarter. Bobcats leading 7-0 here in the semifinals. Vango staying in the shotgun. The Moose Smith in motion, and Rattalunas. Actually, there was a fake there. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. That didn't even fool me. And Vango's off to the races. Quarterback keeper on the design option play, and he is going to go 92 or 98 yards to the house. Oh my. I thought that Rattalunas had it and Medeiros was able to wrap him up, but just slipping off on the near side, and Vango off to the races.
Well, they like their quarterback to keep the ball and run, so that was a great, well-executed play by Souhegan.
Scored by number 9, Mike Sienga.
And chance for the extra point to tie things up. Here's Drake. High snap, but the kick is good, and we are tied at 7, just like that. So Plymouth's defense had done so well, 2-3 and outs to start. A beautiful punt from Luke Diamond that gets him trapped at the 2 officially, and then Fiango just takes it himself and runs all the way the other way.
Well, it shows a couple things. Number one is that Souhegan deserves to be here, certainly.
Oh, absolutely.
And number 2 is that don't blink, because they can make the big play, as they've done previously against Plymouth, and once again just now.
So a brand new ball game, 7:29 to go here in the second quarter. Hope you are all enjoying this game here today. Welcome back for everybody live on channel 1302, Spectrum Internet and Pemmy Baker TV. Also, a little shout out to Diane and Pep Austin. So again, if you guys are watching, it should be the day game on grass on a Saturday and not the night game on AstroTurf. Make sure you guys are tuning into the correct game here today. I'm sorry, your son told me to say it. So whistle here as the wind knocked the ball off the tee.
And the good news, he's kicking into the wind, so I don't know how high he'll want to kick it. He might want to keep it low in line drive.
Shannon and Marsh back to receive the kickoff at their own 10. Drake will just drill it forward, go short, and it looks like Eli Crane, number 40, shaking off some Souhegan
Crane on the return.
defenders, but couldn't really go anywhere with it. He's just throwing his shoulders around, trying to get free. I loved it.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're one of the youngest of 9 kids, you got to be tough. And all the Crane boys and ladies are tough. We've watched them play over the decades. I've had the privilege to work with some of the boys, and they're just great kids and tough kids.
So Plymouth will go back to work, now tied with Souhegan at their own 38-yard line. Fullback handoff, and Valenti is popped right at the line of scrimmage. Once again, Grant Harris, number 22, quickly in on the tackle, and he's been a menace as a linebacker. Diamond will break the huddle. Staying with that jumbo package, handoff. And the rushing game, only a couple of more yards for Valenti. And 3rd and long. And stay with us at halftime. Special show coming up for you from my students in our Media 2-3 program. Bi-weekly newscast, things happening around the school. So stay tuned for that. Third and 7. Diamond gonna roll out under pressure, has to step back into the pocket, still trying to shake free, and after all that, gets back to the line of scrimmage and had no options open downfield.
He had 2 receivers on the left-hand side of the field that he was looking to, but normally there's a shorter person that's shorter in the flat, and there was nobody there. So I'm not sure if that was a missed assignment or if that was the play, but he certainly didn't have enough time to let it develop to get people where they needed to be.
So Diamond will have to go back to punt it away. And that's off the outside of his foot. And beautiful catch on the near sideline, but not where Plymouth wanted it to go. Caught nicely there by Aiden Bryant, number 63. Put him on the hands team there, Coach. But with that, Souhegan right at midfield to work with as they try to get the lead late in the first half, 5:20 remaining in the second quarter.
Well, other than that one play, Dan, Plymouth controlled the line of scrimmage, and hopefully they'll do something to adjust to keep an eye on the quarterback. But I think they've got everything else pretty well covered.
Bango taking his time, staying in the shotgun.
We could see an option here. No, maybe not.
Moose Smith in motion. There's the option, but handed off to Radalunas. Gain of 2 on the carry.
Radalunas on the carry. Brought down by Nossaman.
And this time, not a fumble on that handoff. Because you're right, you saw it before. Radalunas a couple of drives ago held on to it too much with that option. That caused the fumble.
Well, his pitch man was a little too far out in front of him, so that would be a giveaway for not running it. But I think you're going to see it at some point.
Trips to the right. Oh, false start on the offense, and on that hard snap count, and Braden Hickman got caught.
Flag down on the plate.
So our second penalty of the day, really our first real one besides the Souhegan team taking it on 4th down. Referee Steve Hall here today making that call, and it'll bring up now 2nd and 13.
Now they've got that trips to the far right, and they do some patent things where they use 2 of the receivers to block. But actually, they're all downfield now.
They went empty backfield over the middle, wide open. Brody Smith, and just like that, Souhegan has taken the lead, 4:21 to go in the second, and two big plays, and Souhegan have control.
Well, Jeremy Rainier was getting beat on that, and then he slipped as he tried to go catch up. So that's why the receiver was so wide open. And, this is the thing. They have the ability to strike whenever, and he certainly had plenty of time to let that play develop.
So a 53-yard touchdown as Drake will hit the extra point, and a 14-7 lead for Souhegan, just like that. And this game has been completely flipped on its head here in the last 5 minutes.
Well, when you have an offense that is a spread offense like that, they're running gun. They're going to make some big plays because of that. Plymouth offensively has been ball control, and they chew up time, they score. But when they run that kind of an offense consistently, they're not going to be able to catch up once they get behind. But Plymouth has all kinds of plays adjusted off all these formations, and I'm sure Coach Sanborn is going to know what to do and when. He's done a great job with this football team. And he's got a good bunch of kids, so the game is far from over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first half, again, we've seen it right here. One play completely turns the game on its head, and we'll see what Plymouth can do to answer back as you get ready for the kickoff from Drake. But if you're Souhegan, you're feeling a lot more comfortable here in the second than you did in the first with how Plymouth was controlling possession.
Well, you can see when a team starts to smell the blood, and I think that Souhegan is headed that way. The momentum has certainly shifted, but Plymouth's pretty good at taking the wind out of sails, too.
Driven. Goes back to Marsh. He'll pick it up on the hop at his own 20. Marsh finds some running room and pushed out around the 40.
Marsh on the return.
Good job there from Logan Marsh.
Brought down by Wilkins.
So Plymouth, good field position to start their next drive, but have been held to 3 and outs their last couple of possessions.
Just got to report Plymouth State playing the number 18 team in the country in Division III. They're down 27-21.
Ooh, UMass Dartmouth. That's a great battle. Oh, fumble on the snap. Ball's loose. Souhegan thought they had it, but it wasn't down by contact. But they are going to say Souhegan recovers. Oh, things are falling apart for Plymouth here in the second quarter. I didn't think there was possession, even though we see it here. Marsh runs into Diamond. The ball comes free, and then you see it loose there, and yeah, it's gathered up by Souhegan.
Well, it had to be on the loose before he hit the ground for that to be a fumble, and evidently that's what it was.
Yeah, it definitely came loose, but I for some reason, with the live play from our vantage point, without looking at our giant TV for replay off to our left, thought the ball was still loose when they blew the whistle. But nevertheless, Souhegan, great work by their defense and miscommunications on the offense for Plymouth. They have fantastic field position at the Bobcat 35. Fiango, pocket collapsing and gets swallowed up. A big loss of 8 on the play. And it's Robbie Thorne in on the tackle.
That was a great defensive play, and that's the kind of pressure you got to put on this quarterback, because if he has time to throw, he's got great receivers, and if he has time to throw, he throws a great ball, and he's going to beat you. So you've got to really create some pressure and get some hurry-up stuff going on, and that's what causes your fumbles or your interceptions.
Also, Eli Crane, first one in before Robbie Thorne, so he'll get credit for that tackle. 3:33 and counting left in the second. Souhegan trying to make it a 2-score game. 2nd and 18. Fango will dump off here to Smith. Great blockers out in front, and he'll get wrapped up by Liam Shannon.
Well, I watched the quarterback throw that in pregame, and he threw that pass to the same receiver, on a dime. So that's how you take care of the rush, is by you hit that stuff quick.
Brody Smith with a touchdown as well here today, moments ago. with that reception. Fango, quick throw out to Smith. He'll bobble it and keep possession as Diamond now playing corner. And we'll push him out.
Well, it was more than enough for a first down. And again, it's that quick pass, the quick out, and I think Plymouth has kind of struggled to cover that during the season. They did a great job stepping up to cover it against Merrimack Valley last week, but as you can see, I think we've got a different level athlete out here right now.
We don't normally see Luke Diamond out there in the safety role. Actually, they're playing a corner now, but with it being semifinals, quarterback keeper Fango trying to dance around through the middle, gets a couple more. Flag on the play, coming in late.
Well, there was your option, and
Flag down on the play.
I think 9 times out of 10 the quarterback is gonna keep the ball because he is a runner.
Oh, personal foul, face masking is the call
Against Plymouth.
on Plymouth. So a 15-yard penalty. And these errors and penalties are really starting to haunt the Bobcats at the moment.
Well, it's time for Plymouth to reset. You go into halftime, you're down a score or two, and you really got to reset yourself mentally and go out and play your game and just pound away at it.
The problem is that it is first and goal, but Souhegan will have possession to start the second half, since Plymouth started after winning the toss and elected to receive. So this could really swing things open if the momentum continues for Souhegan. They can get a couple of big scores here and make Plymouth kind of go one-dimensional in throwing. Quarterback keeper on the option and an easy walk in for Fiango. And just like that, 3 unanswered touchdowns in the second quarter for Souhegan. Oh my,
well,
perfect play action.
And a quarterback is dangerous when they can read. They read the option.
Yeah, read option, not play action, my apology.
It's just not predetermined. And I think that's why they had the fumble earlier, was that there was a little confusion with the fullback with the fake going in there. He thought he was going to get the ball and hung on to it. And I think that's why they had a fumble. But on those, the quarterback is got a great view of what's going on. And as he's making the fake to the running back, he's looking to see where the linebackers and everybody are going. He just keeps that ball, cuts it upfield, and he was basically untouched.
Cruising into the end zone on a 9-yard touchdown run for Mike Fiango, his second rushing touchdown of the afternoon. Souhegan controlling 2:13 remaining in the first half. They're up 21-7 on the road. Boy, Plymouth really needs to find some energy here and find something on this drive and get some momentum going into the locker room, Coach.
Yeah, and Souhegan, think about it. They're coming into Plymouth. They got nothing to lose. This is it. And they have nothing to lose, so they're going to pull out all stops and do whatever they can to score and to turn the ball over for Plymouth and that sort of thing. So they got nothing to lose.
Again, we talked about it during our pregame coverage. Trying to get redemption from falling at home against Plymouth in the regular season in overtime and then losing here in that battle in the semifinals last year after their dominant regular season win at home last season. So they want this here. A little squib kick, kind of an onside. Ball's loose. It was touched. Souhegan thought they had it momentarily, but it looks like the Bobcats will have possession at their own 35.
I think the other team always thinks they have possession.
Hey. Why not?
In the NFL, they all do it.
It's the game within the game.
Well, this is time for the 2-minute drill and see if Plymouth can go down and score another touchdown, put some points back on the board and have a little swing of momentum. And then coming back in the second half, that defense, if they can stop Souhegan on the first drive, then I think you'll see the Bobcats get the momentum back their way.
See what they can do. Souhegan trying to get their fan base and bench fired up here. 1st and 10 at the 36. Handoff as Valenti just drops his shoulder and gains about 7 on the carry.
And Souhegan's defense have softened up a little bit. They back into the 4-man front. and they've got their linebackers, and they're not all in the box, so to speak.
No huddle, 2-minute drill, as Coach said, and across midfield, and Plymouth earning the first down with Ben Valenti, and again trying to get something here before halftime.
First down, Bob.
Handoff, Valenti gets absolutely stood up. Timeout call by Plymouth.
Very good one-on-one tackle by Rondalunas. He was down low, wrapped him around below the knees, picked him up, and just pushed him back. Leverage.
Yeah, Rondalunas, great job there. Timeout on the field. We'll step aside as well. 1:36 to go here in the second quarter. Souhegan leading 21-7. Back out of the first charge timeout to Plymouth. They'll have it second down and about, 5 here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2nd and 5 inside the 45. Handoff, running room. Robbie Thorne across the 35 and a couple of more there. And enough for a Bobcat first down. As the clock will stop momentarily to move the chains. And right back to the no huddle, hurry up offense. Robbie Thorne diving in, trying to get that tackle was Harris, but the ball came free, and Souhegan recovers on the fumble. What is going on if you're Bobcats?
Well, you know, you've got a big pile there. It's more like a scrum in rugby than. And when you're standing up like that, the kids in there, the guys that have hands on or have got hands on, but the other guys are punching, clawing, and pulling that ball out. So it's imperative for a running back to really, really understand that and keep both hands wrapped up.
Watch this replay again, Coach. You see Rondalunas drops his shoulder, his right shoulder, right into the body of Robbie Thorne and right against the ball that knocked it free. Great job by Rondalunas. Talked about how much depth they have and how much talent they have on both sides of the ball, showing up here in the second quarter.
Well, Souhegan's going to go to put another one in right now, so Plymouth's got to watch out for the deep stuff.
Yeah, everyone's up high. Fango tries with the option, gets about 1 on the carry.
It was a good job covering that because the quarterback, he's not going to pitch. He's going to run. The guy that takes off for 99 yards and has all this rushing, he's going to run more times than he's going to pitch that ball out. And that was covered very, very well. You know, you assign your defensive players. You assign somebody to the pitch man. You assign somebody to the quarterback on that. And when he kept it and tried to go upfield, they were there waiting for him. So Plymouth did a nice job in covering that. And it appears as if Souhegan is going to let that clock run down. We're at 40 seconds now.
They'll have to get one more play off at least. Trying to throw the timing off for Plymouth defensively. Rondalunas with a handoff. Running room gets pulled down. That might be a horse collar. Don't see a flag, but he got spun around quickly, and he'll be shy about 2 yards from the sticks. That, again, don't need to run another play. Can go to the locker room. And, oh, no, Robbie Thorne's shoulder. He goes down and draws the official timeout and injury, and that's someone you cannot afford to lose here in this game. And he's signaling. I'm not going to speculate. We don't have medical degrees. But that's not a good sign right there.
He was tapping and pointing to his left shoulder on that. So we'll see if Dr. Bruley can get him back out there in the field after the half, but I imagine he won't be going back out now.
Dr. Bruley, don't let that go to his head. He'll take it and run with it. But nevertheless, Souhegan can let the clock run out because, again, they will have possession to start the second half. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to let the clock run out here, final 5 seconds. So A great opening quarter, coach, for Plymouth. They have a 7-0 lead. They have possession for 99% of the opening quarter after only one 3-and-out there for Souhegan, but all Sabres in the second quarter, 21-7 at the break.
Well, it's been an example of, Plymouth's they've turned the ball over, which has killed them during drives and set up two big plays for touchdowns right away. So it's all about keeping control of the ball and not having turnovers if you want to win. So Plymouth's got to tighten up on that and be ready to come out swinging in the second half.
So with that, again, fans, I guess I could say now, it's still weird to get used to. Media 2-3 class here at Plymouth Regional High School puts on a bi-weekly news broadcast of things happening around the community and at the high school. And so this week, our crew caught you up on a lot of things happening around the school and also talk with the esports team. Be back in just a moment. Halftime, Souhegan leading 21-7.
Good morning, PRHS. Today is Friday, November 15th, and welcome to PRHS Today. I'm Alexander Mitchell.
And I am Gavin Rayome. This morning's weather is looking at like a crisp 36 degrees Fahrenheit, with a high of around 46 degrees. Pretty, not too much of a discrepancy, still pretty chilly. So it seems that we are getting into coat weather.
Going into Thanksgiving and everything, getting ready for winter.
Yeah, it makes sense. Christmas, December is right around the corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
with that, we have the Grammys.
Yes, the Grammys. I like some of the nominees. Not Like Us is definitely going to sweep most of the things it's in.
It should, at
It
least.
should.
Some interesting Album of the Year nominees this year.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Don't know how Andre 3000 got in there.
Yeah.
It's got to be a first of some sort.
Yeah, like a fully non-lyrical album. That's going to be a first of the Grammys.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to win. But
Yeah, but then again, there's not really any good nominees, in my opinion.
there's not any, horrible ones either, though.
Yeah, but they're all very mediocre.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Every
know.
single one of them.
Didn't Kendrick drop an album?
I don't think he dropped an album.
He might not have.
Anyway, today's broadcast is looking like a fairly short one, as we only have 2 actual segments this week.
The first one, of course, being our bi-weekly interview, this time with Mr. Frazier and the captain of the esports team.
David Kaiser, right?
Yes, David Kaiser.
And right after, we will have the sports segment.
And then, with no further delays, on to a pursuit of knowledge of Mr. Frazier with Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch. And now we have David Kaiser and Mr. Frazier here for the esports team. How has the esports team done so far?
Done pretty well so far, having no losses, all wins in our games.
That's good.
Yeah, we are ranked 10 out of 125 teams.
That's really good. Is it a divisional?
Yes, it's the East. It's basically all the eastern side of the U.S. So
you have pretty good competition.
we do. Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Frazier, how do you feel about being the manager of, a fairly new team?
Well, I wasn't really sure what to do in the beginning, so I went online, did some research to figure out how to manage an esports team at a high school. Found some really helpful information from a website called Play Versus, and that's basically what we're using as a platform to compete and go against other teams in the area.
That's good. And David, how does it feel to be the captain of this team?
I've been running a team already for a different game for like 3 years now, so I just went right into it, already knowing a lot of what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. And again, David, why and how should fellow students join the team?
If you're ever interested in joining the team, just email me, David25T at Perry Baker, or Mr. Frazier, and we can send you a link to the Discord server where we hold all of our practices and talk and plan events.
Mr. Frazier, what games do you play currently and plan to play in the future?
So right now we are just focusing on Rocket League for this, for fall. For spring, we will be introducing Super Smash Brothers and continue Rocket League. I would like to next year see what interest there are for other games. There are many other games on this Play Versus platform that we can utilize. I just need to get a consensus from the students here on what games they would like to play.
Yeah. And could you explain the scoring and how ranking works at your competition, is chosen and such?
So it's all based on how many wins you have. So in one season, we might have play 10 different games. And if you win, 9 out of 10, you're a higher rank than if they lose, every single game. So it's all done by ranking on how many wins you have and how many scores you have and stuff like that.
And then those wins are broken down into each event, which is based on max 5 games, because it's first to 3 to win.
Right. Yeah. So each game, when you play a opponent in Rocket League, you play best out of 5. So each game, we can have 3 games or 4 games or whatever, and then the overall, whoever wins overall, that score gets added to our score globally in Play Versus.
Okay. Dave, when do you guys practice?
We always practice Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 7 to 8:30.
Okay.
So.
And do you do any practice individually, or?
Yeah, we always do a lot of we always do individual practice offline, but then we always do a little bit to just warm ourselves up with a little bit of training packs, and then some 1v1s before we do actual team practice.
Okay. Mr. Frazier, what have been your opponents so far this season?
Many different schools, all on the East Coast of the U.S. I couldn't tell you exactly which schools they are, but I've seen some technical high schools. I've seen regular high schools like ours where they have a technical side and a normal academic side. So it's been a really mixed bag of various high schools all around the same, all in the East Coast of the U.S.
This one's for either of you. What do you think the toughest opponent has been so far this year?
Yeah, really. Probably the one today.
Yeah.
I would say. So far, we've been just destroying everybody.
Who are you playing today?
We're playing second place in the championship. They are from Indiana.
Yeah. And they are ranked number 2 right now.
Yeah.
2v10 here. So, yeah. Lastly, who are your current members?
So we have David Kaiser as our captain. We have Royce, and then we have Tanner Weddington as the 3. It's a 3-person team.
Yeah. Is there a specific place you guys hold your tournaments and events and such?
So we are, like I said, we use Play Versus as the platform to play on. That is an online platform. So the students are able to play at home in their comfortable environment with their own computers and devices. We also play with NHIAA, and that is a tournament that's happening December 14th in Southern New Hampshire University. That's only for the schools in New Hampshire area.
Okay. It's like New England, or is it just New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Just New Hampshire, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys both. And we'll give it back to Gavin and Mitch in the studio.
Thank you, Mitch. Now then, we gotta take a look at what our sports teams have been up to.
On to Lady Ruby, first for name of the Clogston family, with our sports for the week.
Thank you, Mitch. Now, there hasn't been a lot going on here with sports at Plymouth, but we do have some big news here at Plymouth Regional High School. In cross country, Ellie England came 38th out of 253 runners, 10th for New Hampshire runners, with a time of 19 minutes and 17 seconds. It was a challenging course, and Ellie also made it to New England's, which is being held in Connecticut. So good luck, Ellie. Then moving over to our cheer team, Sunday, November 10th, our cheer team made it to the state championships, which was held at Pinkerton Academy, and they had an outstanding routine, and all of their hard work paid off this season. So nice job, guys. Now moving on to one of our most favorited fall sports here at Plymouth, which is football. They kicked off playoffs by going up against Merrimack Valley and winning the whole game. The score was 42-7. Shout out to Mac, Thorne, Diamond, Russo, and Valenti for all scoring in that game. And next week, they head off to the semifinal games against Souhegan. So good luck, football team. That's all for the big announcements today. And I'm going to hand the mic back over to the anchors. Go Bobcats.
Thank you, Ruby. And now, it seems we've reached the end of our broadcast.
Thank you once more to Mr. Salzer for letting us use this wonderful studio.
And thank you to our entire media crew for helping us with the broadcast this week.
Yes, and thank you to Mr. Frazier and David Kaiser for allowing us to interview them. And with that, bonne nuit, mes amis.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Plymouth Regional High School. Dan Salzer alongside Mike Courier and Coach Souhegan really taking control in the second quarter. 3 unanswered touchdowns. They have a 21-7 lead at the half. And besides that, what we've seen, what are some of the smaller details? We saw the big plays, but what has stood out to you from both teams here in the first half?
Well, Plymouth came out in pretty much control of things when they went down and scored, and they were up 7-0. But then you had the 99-yard touchdown run by the quarterback for Souhegan, and then you had the 2 pass plays that the defenders just weren't there. They were wide open. But the other thing, too, is that Plymouth didn't sustain any drives. They fumbled the football a couple of times, and if you can't sustain control, you're left up to the advantage from Souhegan is they can throw the football and they play some wide open football. Plymouth's more conservative in that respect, but Plymouth has got all these other plays too. They can open things up more and do some things that I don't think Souhegan or anybody has seen this year. So I have a feeling Coach Sanborn's got these boys fired up to forget about the first half and come out smoking the second half, and we'll see what happens. Plymouth's got the goods, but you got 2 very, very good football teams that I think at the beginning of the season were expected to be in the finals or the quarterfinals, the playoffs at least, and you got it. I mean, the 4 top teams have all been very, very good in Division II this year.
When you look at things, Souhegan will receive the kick to start the second half, and if you're Plymouth and you're Coach Sanborn, it almost feels like with the way this game has gone, you need to stop Souhegan now on this drive and not even give up 3 to have some sort of momentum, because you're almost going to be forced. If Souhegan scores, you're a one-dimensional, get it downfield throwing, passing team here the rest of the game, and that's going to really hamper your offense.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is obviously flowing down the Souhegan River and right now. But Plymouth can do a 3-and-out like they did the first 2 possessions that Souhegan had the ball in the beginning of the game, then they're going to get themselves restabilized, I think. And if people hang on to the football, I think Plymouth can reestablish that. But Souhegan's made adjustments to those plays from tackle to tackle, and they've shut that down considerably. So Plymouth's got other things that they can do to spread things out a little bit more, and I think they need to do that. And I'm sure that, the coaches at Plymouth High School are very, very good. The team's well coached, and they're going to do whatever they can to make the adjustments they need to get Plymouth back rolling again.
You look at things, winner of this will take on Pelham in the championship game. Pelham with that dominating win last night at home, 47-21 over Trinity, the 3 seed. So Pelham tuning in here, watching, and right now expecting another matchup with Souhegan, but we'll see what Plymouth can do, because there's going to be a lot of pressure here, especially in the first couple of drives.
Well, the thing I can say about Pelham is they got a chip on their shoulder, and they should have, because
what, 5 straight championships between Division 3 and 2.
But then Souhegan beats them, and they're not the undefeated team that they were at the beginning of the season, and they're going to be ready to come after Plymouth or Souhegan, whoever makes it through today, and they're going to be loaded for bear. They'll be playing with reckless abandon, and they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, Pelham. Yeah, their loss was, I think it was to Trinity.
Yes. In
the regular season, they beat Souhegan, but yeah, you lose that winning streak.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay, you're right. Well, I'm sure they took out revenge on Trinity last night.
They did indeed. But nevertheless, we're set to go to start the second half of this game, as Legacy will kick off from his own 40. The teams will switch ends. It's end over end, a high one. And a return left side with some running room as Smith gets across the 40 out to about the 44. We'll see where they spot him.
Well, the wide guy in the coverage, they didn't contain. He got caught inside, he got blocked, and that allowed the running back to bring the ball up the side of the field. So that was a blown return on part of Plymouth. That you need to contain outside on a kick return, and they did not do that.
So 1st and 10 Sabres near midfield. And the option handoff, Radalunas across midfield, gets wrapped up by Nathan Lyons at the 48 of Plymouth, a gain of about 5 or 6 on the carry.
Brought down by Lyons.
Will be 5, so 2nd and 5 here. Again, also keep an eye on the collegiate level we talked about earlier, Coach, and a good battle over at Plymouth State University. Get to that in just a moment. Viego, just drop it and now run with it. Thought about going downfield. He'll gain 3 more in the rush. It'll be 3rd and 2 at the Bobcat 45.
Brought down by Crane.
Eli Crane on the tackle. Souhegan staying with their shotgun. Smith in motion. Option, Radalunas with a carry near the sticks and should be enough for a Souhegan first down, and it looks like it will be.
Well, I'm watching this develop, and they handed the ball off, but he was all set up to run that option, and I just have a feeling we're going to see that at some point in time. Again, when you have a quarterback that can actually read that option, it makes you that much better because he can really see the field and make the decision based upon what he sees the defense reacting to.
First and 10, Souhegan. Check down to Smith. Bobble's able to make the catch and a blown tackle. And what could have been only a 1 or 2 yard reception turns into 9. As Liam Shannon a little shaken up on the tackle.
Smith.
Well, when you see the quarterback is the only guy in the back, you know it's going to be a short pass. He's not going to have time to let the long thing set up, and that's what he did. He faked to one side because he had it on the far side, and then he threw that quickly.
Radalunas with the carry. Gets the forward progress enough for another Sabres first down. And Souhegan just marching all over Plymouth's defense.
Carry. First down, Sabres.
See some substitutions coming in for Souhegan. Get the personnel matchup. Aiden Reardon, number 6, coming in. First and 10 from the Bobcat 32-yard line. 4 wide receivers split evenly. Van Gogh going to air it over the middle and no one home. His receiver slipped, and Smith well back by the 15-yard line there.
And there was no flag. When I saw the receiver go down, I thought, geez, was there contact? But it looked like he kind of tripped either over the D-back or whatever, but he was down and the ball was just thrown into the end zone with nobody around.
A motion to the near side, option. Quarterback keeper, and Viego will get maybe 2 on the carry out to the 30, and Plymouth was ready for it defensively that time.
Yeah, much better job on that because he made the fake. He rode the fake and then took off with the ball. But, I mean, I think that it's safe to say he's not going to pitch the football. He's a runner. He wants to run, and he's deadly. So I think Plymouth could expect that will happen more times than not.
3rd and 8 from the 30-yard line. Trips near side, 4 wide receivers set. Now they're going to go empty backfield as Radalunas will go to the line.
And there's
Van Gogh with the blitz coming. Going to rush, try to get to the edge. As Liam Shannon misses pushing him out. And Mike Viego will get close to the first down marker and does so in a blown tackle.
They set that up. They had trips to the Plymouth side of the field, and the play that I'd seen them run in looking at film is what they'll have the two receivers step forward, the one steps back. They usually throw a quick out to him, and now he's got 2 blockers in front of him. But the quarterback did not do that. I think he was looking for 6 points in the end zone, which caused him to have to tuck it and go. But then again, he's a good runner, and he took advantage of that.
Radalunas with the sweep. On the carry, cuts upfield inside the 10, and a 1st and goal situation, most likely for Souhegan. It's right at the sticks. It's actually going to be, they're going to be back a yard short. I thought he had it.
And that was the speed sweep that they ran, which is it's tough to stop. And they've got Plymouth so spread out that it's difficult to take that one-on-one.
2nd and 1. Plymouth trying to work with their shift, trying to get a false start. Nothing coming. Option on the read option. Pitch out here, and it's should be fumbled and recovered by Marsh, I thought. They do! Bobcats recover on a tough little pitch out there on the option.
The only thing I can say is it almost looked like it was a forward pitch versus a side pitch, but we're going to take it.
No replay.
We're going to take it. We're not going to replay that.
No official replay. We'll show the replay, but yeah. The option pitch forward is fumbled, and you see the side judge there getting the call right away, and Plymouth doing what they needed to. Yes, Souhegan was marching, looking for another unanswered touchdowns, but they critically kept it at this 21-7 scoreline at the moment.
And that's the thing. You got a quarterback that's used to keeping the ball, so he doesn't practice a whole lot pitching like that. And he almost waited too long because he was in the grasp at the time and then pitched it out, which threw his pitch off.
Jumbo package here for the Bobcats. Diamond under center. Handoff Valenti, right side, has some running room, gets some breathing room away from the end zone, and gets across the 15. Gain of 6 or 7 on the carry. Looks like 7.
But this is where Plymouth gets a chance to reestablish their momentum and reestablish their control of the game. But they're down 2 scores, so now they've got to control the ball, getting it down. They then get it back again so they can tie things up.
So 2nd and 2 is where they mark him in the 8-yard carry. Handoff Valenti, gets hit right away, but spinning forward should be enough, and is enough for a Bobcat first down. Sean Reeder, number 55, the captain, in on the tackle, had him right away.
Brought down by Reardon.
Liam Shannon checking back in. Under 7 to go, 3rd quarter, still 21-7 Souhegan after that very strong 2nd quarter of play from the visitors. Two in motion for the Bobcats. Handoff, Valenti trying to spin, gets through some traffic. They'll give him 4, and could have been a bigger hole there.
You know, looking at the defensive alignment, they're pretty balanced across the front and the secondary for Plymouth. So when Plymouth takes both their wing and their back, the wing and the back, and flip them over to the other side, Souhegan doesn't have to adjust because they're balanced. So not sure how much you gain by that.
Bobcats trying to get something quickly here towards the end of the 3rd quarter. Handoff Valenti, the fullback carry, and again, Souhegan was ready for that first rusher up. Plymouth gets nothing. So 3rd and 6. Bench is becoming more alive. Souhegan trying to have that crowd noise here on the road with the bench and their fans on the far side of the field. Diamond, step back, gonna try to look to throw. Has to scramble, uses his speed, and gets to the sticks for a first down. A foot race that beat Wilkins there in time.
Luke did a good job because what he did is he protected himself as well. He saw the marker, he got out just past it and went out of bounds untouched. And smart on his part. There's no need to fight for the extra yards at this point.
So the drive continues for Plymouth. Started back within their own 5-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 31. Robbie Thorne with the carry, his first touch since what appeared to be some sort of injury at the end of the first half. It appears to be okay. He'll get a couple on the carry. Diamond will get the play call, and we'll head to the huddle. Under 4.5 to go, third quarter. Still the 21-7 scoreline in favor of Souhegan. Sabres put up 3 unanswered in that second frame. On the sweep into Logan Marsh, and you are not going to fool the likes of Grant Harris, who's been there all afternoon in the backfield.
Well, good football teams sit down and do a lot of film work, and they look at various formations, and they see what kind of plays are run out of those formations. And Harris was standing there just waiting for him. So, you know, they had that one pegged. That's been a successful play for Plymouth all year long when they've run it. But unfortunately, I think Souhegan saw enough of that in the films to be able to figure it out.
So with that tackle for a loss, it's 3rd and 11 at the 30. Bargwin alone on the near side. He hasn't been targeted yet today, and a timeout called by Plymouth. First charge timeout of the second half. And Coach Sanborn not happy about something he saw in the matchup. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Bobcat football in the semifinals here on Pemby Baker TV. Back out of the first charge timeout by the Bobcats. 3rd and 11 here. A drive that started within their own 5 after the turnover. Diamond going to roll out under pressure from behind and gets hit as he tries to throw. Was that forward motion? We're going to the Tom Brady tuck rule here. They're going to say it's turned over and intercepted.
That's well, I guess I don't want to be in trouble like Tom
No,
Brady.
yeah,
I
go
question that call. The arm was clearly going forward.
Yeah.
And he got hit as it was going forward.
But we'll see the replay here. Our friends off to the side of the Learning Commons. Oh, it did. They're going to say it was a clean catch, though, on the forward. It did not fall. So Owen Wood, number 54, with a clean interception after that. And just like that, a very short field for Souhegan with 3:19 to go in the third. And you talked about it, Coach, pregame. Turnovers were going to be the issue.
Well, there was
determining factor.
With the rollout, there was absolutely nobody looking at the backside. A lot of times you have a guard or a tackle that kind of peels back a little bit to cover that sort of thing, but there was nobody there.
And there's Hickman, who's the leading blocker here. Radalunas just pulling the Bobcat defenders on his back, and he's pulling Emmett Nossaman, number 54.
Brought down by Nossaman.
So 2nd and 3 at the 20. And again, you still have a full quarter of action to go, but time's starting to become a factor against Plymouth. Handoff, Radalunas turning on the edge left side. We'll get to the sticks. First Sabres first down. So another first down for Souhegan. Good to see our friends over in the press box from NH Sports page. Great job with Dave and other coverage around the state, and also the stats and a quarterback keeper with the option. And Fango will get maybe a carry or of a yard.
Brought down by Crane.
Plymouth desperate for a stop here. Had it on the last drive on a fumble on the pitch on the option. A touchdown here is going to make things very difficult for Plymouth heading into the fourth quarter. Quarterback keeper, Vango, rushing forward to about the 10-yard line. They'll give him 6 on the carry. As we approach a minute 15 remaining in the third. Third and 4 from the 10. And the hillside has pretty much gone silent here, Coach.
Well, it's going to be like that. But it's not over yet. Plymouth's got to pull it together here and make some stops.
Radalunas on the sweep, dives for the end zone and gets pulled down by Liam Shannon and a couple of others. Shannon just looks gassed out there at the moment, but he prevents a touchdown. But it's first and goal, Souhegan.
Liam's kind of hobbling away from the pile a little bit.
He's been in almost every tackle. You see the replay here on that speed sweep, and he just got popped and got the wind knocked out of him with a helmet there of Radalunas.
All these kids are going to leave it on the field because that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's
Semifinals. There's nothing else to play for after today if you don't win. But it looks like Souhegan will just bleed the clock off to end the third quarter. 5 seconds on the clock. Oh, they're going to take a timeout? All right, so I guess the play clock was in the final moments. I didn't see the handoff from the back judge. But nevertheless, Souhegan will take their first charge timeout. We'll keep it right here with you with 2 seconds on the game clock in a first and goal situation, Coach.
Yeah, it's now it becomes a different game for Souhegan. They are up by 2 scores, and the longer they can hang on to the ball and the more they can drive the ball with good ball control, the better it is for them because they want to keep the hands out of Plymouth. Where if it was reversed, Plymouth would be doing the exact same thing. So Plymouth's got to come up with some plays. We're looking at 12 minutes left in the season for whoever goes home, the loser tonight. But they've still got a lot to go. It's not over by far, and we'll wait and see.
But now if you're defensive coordinator and Tom Lamb, are you just bringing some sort of blitz, delayed blitz, trying to get something in the backfield of a turnover here? Something we haven't seen the defense do all season.
I don't know.
First and goal from the 2. Option, handoff. Radalunas, nowhere to go. Hickman came in motion. As that's going to do it for the third quarter, a scoreless third quarter of play. As we head to the final 12 minutes here in the semifinals, it's Souhegan, the 4 seed, 21. Plymouth Regional, the top seed, 7. You're watching Bobcat football in the NHIAA Division II semifinals here live on Pemmy Baker TV. To the fourth quarter we go here at Plymouth Regional High School at George C. Zulius Field. Alongside Mike Courier, Dan Salzer, and our entire fantastic staff here at Pemmy Baker TV. Our full staff finally. Can't say that enough. It's so great to have the ability to have multiple cameras, full production here for you guys. We start the fourth Second and goal. Quarterback keeper on the option, and a third touchdown of the day for Mike Fiango. His third rushing touchdown, and that is close to sealing it here, even though there's just the start of the fourth. It's a 4-possession game, or a 3-possession game.
Touchdown scored by number 9, Michael Fiengo.
Like you said, Coach, in our pregame show, it's hard to beat the same team twice in a season. And Souhegan proving that here. It's a high snap, and just going to lob it, and it'll be caught! It was batted, but right back in to the hands of Liam Fisher for the 2-point conversion, and that just kind of sums up how this afternoon has gone for Plymouth since the first quarter. See that here, just a little prayer being thrown up by Aiden Reardon as the holder.
And we're looking at Plymouth needs to score 3 times in order to win today.
3 times and a 2-point conversion because of that now. As here's Liam Shannon, who's left it all out in the field, getting trended to by the training staff. We'll step aside, 11:56 to go here this afternoon in the fourth quarter. Souhegan leading by 20. Welcome back here on Pemmy Baker TV. You saw Liam Shannon on your screen being helped off by his teammates. Great to see that he was able to get off the field, and hopefully he will be okay. But that's a student athlete that has left everything and then some on the field, not only this season, Coach, but here today.
Plymouth needs to do something here on the kick return, and they need to score pretty quickly in order to keep themselves in the game.
Well, be a nice time for Logan Marsh to return one to the house here. He's got the speed, and there's been some good chances this season for a kickoff return as we're set to go, as he'll be looking into the sun. As it's driven low and caught right away. Who was that? Oh, that's St. George, number 55, who's had some returns this season, but goes more lateral, and Bobcats will start from their own 38-yard line.
Well, he had pretty quick feet there to scoot around. If he had broken that tackle, he had some green grass in front of him. And I'll tell you, he looked more like a fullback than he did a lineman.
Landon St. George has had some beauties here this season for sure. But the offense will go to work trying to find something here in the fourth quarter. Diamond will get the play call. And we'll head to the huddle. Plymouth gonna have to find something quick and often here, trailing by 20. Handoff Valenti. He'll get maybe 3 on that draw play. And again, it's that, when are you going to start throwing it downfield and forcing the issue?
Brought down by Reardon.
So Patridge will sub out.
We've got both quarterbacks
Yeah,
in.
there we go. There's some trickery. You're right. I was about to say that. Kevin Sanborn is in under center, and Luke Diamond now going to be playing a tight end role. Handoff. Diamond is hit right away, and Johnny on the spot. Grant Harris once again was ready. Right there and waiting. If you're Pelham, and this is how it's going to end up against Souhegan, he is someone you need to game plan for. Because boom, right through the hole right there. Untouched. So now Diamond will stay in at quarterback.
And we're back in the shotgun now.
Pass protection, throwing over the middle and out of the reach of Jackson Rainier. Smith was the closest one to it as the defender.
And it was double covered.
And it's 4th down and 11. So 4 down territory the rest of the game. Clock stopped, 10-14 after the pass that falls incomplete. We see Logan Marsh coming in. Plymouth hustling to the line. Back judge with his hands in motion. Tough, what a broken play, and everything's falling apart for Plymouth. Diamond tried to roll out to his left, ran into a couple of his blockers out in front that weren't far enough away after the snap, and Souhegan will take over on downs.
Well, they had switched centers at that time too, so I'm not sure what the deal was there.
Yeah, just nothing. Radalunas also with the help of Bauscha, number 66, who we saw limping early in the first half. And just like that, Souhegan, 1st and 10 for the Bobcat 30, and can put a nail in the coffin here with a touchdown quickly with 10:09 to go in the 4th. So the Sabres will go trips near side. They'll move Smith now in motion on the sweep. Handoff to him. Trying to turn to the edge. Got past Nossaman. Has the 1st down and more. A 15 or 16-yard carry inside the 15-yard line.
They ran a speed sweep on that, and that was predetermined. But they were well set up for it. Nice job by the run back.
See the replay of it there as Marsh, part of the shoe top tackle. They'll mark it at the 14, 1st and 10, Sabres. Radalunas on the sweep, runs into some Bobcats and gets slammed backwards. Forward progress gives him about 3 on the carry.
Radalunas on the carry. Brought down by
And it's like Radalunas will head out. We'll shake it up after that tackle. We give him 4, 2nd and 6 for Souhegan, and on the hillside here in front of us in the Learning Commons where we're broadcasting from, you can hear a pin drop. Harris now in the backfield, option. Quarterback keeper there with Fiengo inside the 10. Gets a couple more on the carry, and again, Souhegan is bleeding off some clock right now, Coach, as they should.
Well, the running the option too is a good way to churn the clock down. It takes time to run that play, and the quarterback keeps. I don't think you'll see him pitch the ball away ever again today,
or even next week maybe.
But he's a good running back as well, and he just needs to keep the ball and let that clock tick away.
In the shotgun. Radalunas back in after the play out. It looks like his helmet just was the one that came off. It'll get maybe a yard. It'll be 4th down here.
Radalunas on the carry. Brought down by Brian.
So you expect Souhegan, rightfully so, will just try to run this through and
I would
deal with
expect
the outcome.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a trips formation and for them to do something to the trip side, or look to the trip side and throw back to somebody on the left.
And again, it might be me as an old school type of thought, but why not try your kicking game? You're up 22 points with 7:20 and counting. You never know when you might need 3 points in the championship game if that's how it stands here today. I'm a proponent for that for sure, but it looks like Souhegan will just take the timeout instead. So we'll step aside. 7:10 to go here in regulation. It's all Souhegan as they lead at 29-7. Back out of the timeout by the Sabres. Their second charge timeout. 4th and 5. They're going to go for it here. Souhegan trying to get an audible at the line of scrimmage, seeing Plymouth's formation. Fango going to air it out. Back corner! Touchdown! Hickman!
That was a beautiful pass and it was a beautiful catch. I'll tell you, you couldn't have stopped that if you wanted to. He was in the furthest point in the corner. The ball was up. He reached up and grabbed it and tucked it in. Just a great play.
You said that back corner out of the reach of Nathan Lyons if you try to jump for it. And just Souhegan with all control here since the end of the first. Drake for the extra point attempt. Another high snap. And it is good. Souhegan controlling on the road, 36-7 over the undefeated going into the day and top-seeded Bobcats of Plymouth Regional High School. Still 7:04 to go, but it is all but over for Plymouth, unfortunately. Just nothing left in the tank, it looked like at times here today, Coach.
Well, it's been a tough battle, and I think that when the adrenaline kicks into a team, it gives them the strength to come back. I think that Souhegan started out a little bit slow. I think they were getting a little bit tired early on, but then with the turnaround in momentum, I think it rejuvenated them, and they're certainly juiced to the hilt right now. They can smell victory. They can smell state championship, and Plymouth's really got to come out and do something special in order to get back in this game. And I never like to say the game's not over. 7 minutes. So there's an awful lot of offensive work that needs to be done by Plymouth, and some great defense to make some turnovers.
It's not over until that final whistle, but it is glim nevertheless. Drake ready for the kickoff here. Another squib kick going up the middle. It's Luke Diamond, the quarterback, since Liam Shannon left the game. Going to scramble, looking for something, and ends up losing some yardage from his forward progress. So Plymouth will start at their own 20.
And I think they had a right return on that to be set up, but only two of the linemen made it into the side, and there was no way to make that happen. He fielded the ball on the far side of the field and had too far to go to make that happen.
Well, Luke Diamond doing anything and everything, showing why he's a captain and leader since taking over as quarterback his sophomore season, really trying to do anything he can for his team on both sides of the ball. He's played, I think, every snap here in the second half. So he'll start under center. Diamond going to step back, throw it out, and well out of the reach of Luke Legacy in as a receiver, trying to pull the old Gronkowski, the big man, on kind of a banana route. I mean, why not? Legacy's got the leg, he's got the size and the build.
Well, they had two receivers on him, two defensive backs on him for that. The ball was overthrown. I didn't see any secondary receivers anywhere, so I'm not sure. That was just a wheel route, I guess.
Maybe just to give him a stat as a receiver for the end of the season. His first year with the team kicking, star soccer player. Has nowhere to go. Hickman just pushes off the offensive lineman and gets the tackle and the sack there on Luke Diamond. And it's all falling off here. If you are a fan of the Bobcats. If you're Souhegan, you're loving this.
Well, this has been a long rivalry between the two schools, the two teams, and I don't think either team comes to the game without a ton of energy and a chip on their shoulder, both teams, because they want to they want to beat these guys.
Legacy coming in as a receiver, you see on your screen. Marsh in motion. Diamond going to step back and throw it out to the left. Finds Jackson Rainier across the 40s, tripped up out of bounds by Aiden Reardon, number 6.
That ball was right on the money. It was a great catch, great focus by Rainier to catch that because he had a defender on his hip and the boy was flagging his arms. So that was a great play.
And trying to go for it was Knuckles, Chase Knuckles, number 11. See what Plymouth can do, as they are going to have to air it out the rest of the game. Under 6 minutes to go. Clock is stopped with a play out of bounds. 1st and 10, Bobcats. Diamond steps up in the pocket, takes the hit, dumps it off though, and it'll fall incomplete, trying to get it to Valenti and make something out of nothing.
Well, it becomes a little one-dimensional at this point where Plymouth has got to throw the football. And it allows Souhegan to do some stunting. They're going to have their D-backs back deep to not let anything get behind them, and they're going to try to put as much pressure on Plymouth as possible, and that's exactly what they did on that last play in particular.
Diamond get the play call. 2nd and 10, the Bobcat 42-yard line. Diamond going to throw it to the near side, airs this one out, and it's trying to look for Luke Legacy. They're really trying to get him a catch here before the end of the game. So that one was just hanging forever, and Legacy had to wait for it while looking over his shoulder. Nearly had it, too. Smith had the coverage, just able to knock it out of his hands last second. Clock will stop. 5:45 left in regulation. Souhegan ready to punch their ticket to the championship game in a rematch with Pelham. 2 regular season losses for Souhegan against Plymouth and against Pelham, so you know they're looking forward again. Diamond steps up in the pocket, has nowhere to go, and is wrapped up. Good work on the defensive side by Souhegan, number 66. And it's 4th down. It'll be officially a rushing gain of 1 yard. So Souhegan just playing that prevent defense right now. Leaving 3 at the line. Little pitch over here. Valenti has absolutely nowhere to go. Only a gain of 2. And a turnover on downs. And
Valencia on the carry.
Yeah, there's not much else to be said right now, Coach.
That's why I'm so quiet. I think that the game is well in hand with Souhegan. They're doing all the right things. Of course, they're in a much leveraged position where defensively they can afford to put some pressure on and create some rushes to the quarterback. Plymouth is pretty much in desperation mode at this point because they're going to need a couple of big plays to even get themselves back in the hunt here, and so it's a tough situation. But I'll tell you, the top 4 teams in this Division II are all great teams, and early on and even later, with a team losing maybe 1 game or 2 games, you knew that any one of those top 4 on any given Saturday could possibly win. So it's been hard fought, and we'll just see what happens in the next 5 minutes.
Handoff here. Robbie Thorne on the tackle. Harris, the ball carrier. Or correction, my apology. That's Liam Fisher, the sophomore, number 23, with the carry. I'm so used to calling Harris all day with his play on both sides of the ball.
And with Plymouth on the defense, if they can stand the runner up, they got to start trying to strip that ball, punching the ball or stripping the ball out of the hands, because they've got to create a turnover if they can. But of course, Souhegan's being told, that football is gold. Don't let go of it.
Second and 11, and a flag on the field. And a false start. He had somebody out of position. What's going on here?
Looked like offsides. He went to the hips, and maybe somebody lined up offside for Souhegan.
And coach is correct yet again.
Law of averages. I got to be right once in a while.
So second and 15 from midfield. And again, I like how the coaching staff of Souhegan with Robin Boquette have done this. They've kind of taken their time putting the play call in and then rush. So it doesn't allow Plymouth to really, throughout the course of the game, get set defensively. Handoff, Fisher runs into Medeiros and a few others and will get nothing on the carry.
Fisher on the carry, brought down by Madeira.
We pass 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And more action to come throughout the winter season here on Pemmy Baker TV. Have some coverage of boys and girls basketball, wrestling. See some ice hockey as well. Stay tuned for that information in the coming weeks. A handoff to Fisher. Plymouth's defense holds yet again. And it'll be 4th down and 15 from midfield.
It was Mr. Nossaman giving him a little bear hug on that play.
We'll have seniors getting all the playing time here at the end. Special team unit coming on. We see Liam Shannon coming back into the game. Good to see he is okay. Just off of your screen to the left.
And these seniors are going to want to have every last second they can have on the field, because for a lot of them, they'll never play the game again. And it's just been always a great tradition, a great situation for Plymouth players. That's a beautiful punt.
That's a gorgeous punt. Marsh grabs it over his shoulder, facing his own end zone at the 10, and maybe he gets a yard or two on the return.
Well, that was the best kick I've seen from that punter all day, because he didn't hit anything like that in the warm-ups.
Yeah, it was Hickman there, number 13.
He got the turnover. It was a nice punt.
So they'll mark Plymouth at the 12-yard line, and final place here of the season for the Bobcats. As Souhegan gets to get ready to celebrate, and that'll make the bus ride back to Amherst, New Hampshire, essentially Massachusetts, a lot easier for the Sabres here today. Diamond going to roll out to his left. Going to throw into the middle, and it'll be
It's like
picked
an
off
interception.
right into the hands of Aiden McGrath, the senior. Referees are, they're going to say it's second down. Okay.
He may not have caught it. He may have dropped the ball himself, but he looked like he had it in his hands at one point.
Yeah, he's going to say it was a reception for Plymouth.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
I knew
We'll
somebody.
take it.
I knew somebody caught
somebody caught it. We get the replay here as we get ready for the snap. Handoff left side on this active play behind the replay. And near the sticks, about a yard or two short.
Patridge on the carry.
Tristan Patridge, and now a Bobcat player down as we have an official timeout. And can't quite see who that is. John Bruley and the training staff tending to the injured player at the moment. We'll keep it right here. We'll be back in just a moment. Late in the ball game, minute 45 to go. Souhegan controlling, ready for the championship game next week. So back here on Peppy Baker TV, Colin McNair, number 51, is the injured Bobcat hobbling off the field under his own power. Great to see as always. But his day will come to an end. Couple of plays left here if Plymouth can get the first down. Handoff, Ben Valenti will get the first down across the 25. Stop the clock momentarily with 93 seconds to go here this afternoon. Snapping now, you got too many men. Plymouth wasn't ready for it though. Handoff again, Valenti right side. He'll charge forward across the 30, out to about the 31, and we'll just try to get off as many rushing plays here to wrap up the season. Handoff Valenti, the fullback carry across the 35, and another first down for Plymouth. We'll stop the clock with a minute 4 to go until the sticks are reset. So, Coach, a tough one here today, obviously. 36-7 right now with a minute to go, but Plymouth, only team entering today undefeated. Still not the outcome with the history of this program, but still a successful all-around season for Plymouth.
It was a great season, and I think the kids played up to their ability throughout the whole season. And the playoffs is the second season. It's a whole different thing. You've got the best teams in the league playing against each other.
Diamond going to air one out here. Finds Jackson Rainier across midfield as he'll be tackled out around the 40 is where the side judge will mark it.
It's a nice ball by Mr. Diamond and a great reception by the money man.
And again, this isn't Diamond's primary sport. That's baseball. We saw it going with the Red Sox to the Dominican Republic over the summer in that ambassador program. And so he will be gearing up for a very strong baseball season in the spring, and a season where Plymouth, again, can put it together, can really make another charge at a championship game. We'll see. 1st and 10 from the 40, 30 seconds to go. Diamond going to step back, looking to air it out downfield, has protection, drops a dime to Jackson Rainier across the 25.
Well, you can see this is where the prevent defense comes in and allows Plymouth to complete those 10 to 15-yard passes. There isn't as much of a rush. Quarterback's got more time to do that, and they're giving them anything under 20 yards.
Diamond again in the pocket, going to throw it out. Jackson Rainier, the reception is complete at the 15. As Plymouth not even going to call a timeout. They might get this off if they hurry, but 2 seconds, 1, and Souhegan comes up Interstate 93 and knocks off the top seed In Division II, the only undefeated team, Souhegan, after a tough opening quarter, trailed 7-0 with only one possession being a 3-and-out, and go unanswered from there. 36-7 final. Sabres are back in the championship game.
Well, the better team today won for sure, and not to take away from either team that lost today. If it hadn't been Plymouth, I mean, you really got to hand it to both the teams. They've had great seasons. They played at a very high level, and the game today went to the team that just made fewer mistakes and had a couple of big plays that if you take away the 99-yard run and a couple of those long passes, you know, you're talking 3 big plays that really kind of turned the tide. But, you know, you got to hand it. They did it. And Plymouth didn't today. So the Plymouth boys are great. The coaching staff is phenomenal. And, you know, I guess there's always next year. But hats off to the Bobcats for a great season. Disappointing, I know. Everybody will tell you that because it's great to go undefeated in the regular season, but it's even better to win the championship afterwards. Not happening this year.
Yeah, not happening. But again, Souhegan, we say it time and time again, it's so hard to beat the same team twice in the same season. Plymouth getting the win down in Amherst earlier in the regular season in overtime after Souhegan with that comeback bid in the final seconds where Plymouth was kind of leading throughout, and then Souhegan would tie it up. But Souhegan, really the last 3 quarters, all control here for the Sabres as they advance to the Division II championship game. Next Saturday, they'll take on 2nd seed in Pelham. And you know Souhegan will want redemption and get another win over an opponent that beat them here this year. Coach, any final thoughts before we sign off here this season?
I don't know. We've kind of said it all. I mean, the kids had a great season. They didn't have the upper hand today. They made more mistakes, and Souhegan took advantage of everything and had some big plays that made a big difference. And, you know, it's like we've been kind of saying all year long, we got 4 teams that we figured are going to end up where they did, and all capable of taking the whole show. And we wish Souhegan the best. Plymouth will be their seniors did a great job, great leadership out there, and just unfortunately come out on the losing side. But, you know, wish them the best going forward.
We'll see what happens. Plymouth season comes to an end. Souhegan advances to the championship. Again, we wish them the best of luck. Best of luck to Pelham as well as they battle out at Pinkerton Academy next Saturday afternoon. But for our entire staff, thank you so much for tuning in all season long. Our Alexanders on camera, Alexander Mitchell and Alexander Shin, bringing you the coverage. Jonathan Picard, our production manager here today, and alongside Mike Courier, I'm Dan Salzer. Final score for the final time here this year, Souhegan 36, Plymouth 7. Souhegan back in the championship game. We'll see you next season for more football action for the Bobcats on Pemmy Baker TV. Have a great weekend, everyone.